Welcome back or welcome to my channel. If you're new, my name is Zsuzsi, and in today's video I want to talk to you guys about everything fall, specifically about books, because today I'm doing the fall book tag, cozy fall book tag. I saw Emily Fox doing this video a couple of weeks ago, and that was my first time hearing about this tag. I don't think it's as popular as it should be. I will link the original creator and some of the original videos down below if you want to have a look. I think this whole tag started like maybe 9 or 8 years ago, and I just don't see this tag going around, and I think that it's such a cute tag. And since readers usually live for fall and I live in New England and fall is definitely our most beautiful season, it was a no-brainer to me that I had to do it. Because I want to do this book tag every single year, I decided to challenge myself and spice up the original tag a little bit, and I am answering the 7 or 8 questions in this tag with books that I read in 2023. This should be fine. I mean, it is a little bit tough, but it should be fine because I read almost 120 books so far, so I think it's okay. I think that we will have fun. Now, without any further ado, let's get to the tech questions. First question: choose a book that had reds, oranges, and yellows on the cover. So I am going to make this question about the book covers and the cover designers, and not necessarily about the content, because some of these books I absolutely loved, and then some of these books I didn't like that much. But I do have a couple of books here to show you guys. The first one, I adore the cover, the book was okay, and that is How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. I do like this cover. This is the US cover, and I like that we have a dollhouse on the cover, and to me it's super ominous, this cover, and I like it. The black, the red, the orange, the yellow. I think that this was a very cool cover. Next is the best cover of the year. Back to the tag. The next book is The Only One Left by Riley Sager, and this is the best book cover for 2023. It combines orange with purple. I think it's purple, but maybe it's blue, honestly. I cannot tell you, maybe it's blue, I don't know. And this cover, the best cover. Okay, now to Sarah J. Maas covers, because I don't care what you guys think about her writing style or her characters or whatever, but the woman works with really good cover designers. And the cover for Crescent City, this is a masterpiece. This is a freaking masterpiece, and I love this cover. And this is one of the most beautiful books that I own. I mean, even on the inside is just beautiful. The design is beautiful. And I also really like the design of the Throne of Glass series, and this is the Tower of Dawn. And I think that this cover is also beautiful. And then the last book that I want to include here, and some people might disagree with this, that is Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. And this is the US cover. And the author herself said that she doesn't really like this cover because Elizabeth Zott, who is our main character in the book, she would probably hate this cover because it's pink. And I don't see it. Maybe I'm just colorblind. I don't know what the hell, but to me, this cover is orange. Yes, it's got a little bit pink to it, so maybe it's like pinkish orange combined with blue, which is like, you know, it's something that I like very much, but in my opinion, this book is not pink, and I adored this cover. So I don't know, what do you guys think? Is it pink or is it orange? Question number 2. Well, it's finally cold enough to warm cozy clothing. What book gives you the warm fuzzies? Oh well, now this was not an easy question to answer. So what gives me the warm fuzzies? Like, to me, it means that that book must be one of my comfort reads, and also like I feel a lot of nostalgia reading that book or those books, and I came up with 4 answers. And the first one is The Curious Beginning by Diana Rayborn. And if you haven't read this book, please do so. It's kind of like a Regency era murder mystery book. It's the first in a series that's, I don't know, it's got like 8 books in there, and we have the best female protagonist in this book, Veronica Speedwell. I adore this book. This is one of my comfort reads. And then Once Upon a Broken Heart. Like, I picked up this book because of the cover, because I think that this is a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous book cover. But then the content, I fell in love with this book. The plot, the characters, and the last book in the trilogy is coming out in a couple of days, and I am so incredibly scared how the author is going to finish off this series. I love this book. Comfort, comfort, comfort. So good. And other comfort read that I adore is Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. I love this book because this is not a fantasy romance, in my opinion. It is a fantasy with a romance subplot, and I very much enjoy those type of fantasy books. Of course, I enjoy romantasy as well, but I think that these are the kind of books that I really, really love. I hope that the author, who is also one of my favorite fantasy authors, Margaret Rogerson, that she will make this book into a series. So good. This is not really a surprise to everybody. I left the best for last because I have to say that my #1 comfort read is ACOTAR, the first book in the series. I love all the books, but definitely the first book. When I read this book, and when I finished this book, I thought that I was a changed woman. This is the book that introduced fantasy romance to me and introduced a world that I was able to understand, and convinced me that yes, I am able to read fantasy because I can understand the world building and the characters in this book. Some of my favorite characters were introduced in the first book, and I've read this book this year. And I am just going to put it out there 5 times. I read the physical book, I read the ebook, I read the audiobook, listened to the audiobook, and I also listened to the dramatized version of the audiobook. And every single time when I feel that I just need a hug because I am going through a really tough time, I read this book. I finished reading this the 5th time. Just like maybe a week ago or something like that, because again, I was going through a rough patch and I needed this book, and this book is always there to pull me out of those very rough patches. It's true escape, and I just love it. I love it. I love it. Question number 3. The wind is howling and the rain is pounding. Choose your favorite book or book genre that you like to read on a stormy day. Now, to be honest with you, I don't really have books or book genres that I read when it is raining outside or when there's a huge storm outside. Of course, one of my favorite activities is reading when there's a storm outside, but regardless, one of my favorite activities is reading anyways. So, you know, I would just say reading in general, but I want to talk about this book because I do have a little bit of a memory connected to this book. In the beginning of February this year, there was this huge snowstorm hitting us, and it was an Arctic blast, and it was the whole weekend. We couldn't go outside because the temperature was so low. If I remember correctly, it was around -25 Celsius degrees, and it was a little bit of a scary situation, and I decided of course to read this book, which was a new release at the time, The Drift by C.J. Tudor. And this book takes place in the middle of a huge snowstorm, and it's about a pandemic situation, how different people are trying to survive this pandemic situation while they are trapped in the middle of a snowstorm. So, you know, when I look at this book, this definitely brings back memories. Okay, next question. What's the coolest character you would want to trade places with? I read about a lot of female characters and a lot of very tough and resilient and admirable female characters, but to be honest with you, I don't know if they are cool or not, and I definitely don't want to trade places with them, because sometimes that the shit that they have to go through, like, you know, I don't need that in my life. So this is very hard for me to answer. But if we are just looking for a cool character, from a book I read this year, honestly, I think it must be Nesta. Nesta from Akasef, I think. Or maybe I should say Elaine. She's not cool yet, but she can smooch Lucian, so maybe it's I don't know. This is very hard to answer. I adore many female characters I read about this year, but I don't want to trade places with them. No, thank you. Next question. What underhyped books do you want to see become the next biggest and hottest thing? Okay, so I went upon Goodreads and looked up the ratings, the number of ratings and the number of reviews for every single one of the books that I read this year. And some of the most popular ones, like for example Akutar and Lessons in Chemistry, or Zsuzsi, for example, and they all had around 1 million or a little bit more than 1 million reviews, and to me that's a lot. So that's the number that I'm going to say that that's a lot, and that's my comparison. And not all of the books that I read in 2023 were published in 2023 or were published in the same year. So obviously it's very hard to compare the numbers, because with some of these books, the audience just hasn't had enough time to read these books. But I'm gonna say that the number one book that I really want to become the next hottest thing is definitely Thornhedge by T. Kingfisher. And in general, T. Kingfisher, I don't think that she gets enough attention. I think she definitely needs to sell more books. So far, again, this is a very new release, keep that in mind, but this book only had 8,000 ratings. Way less reviews, but only 8,000 ratings. And this book is fantastic. It's kind of like a dark fairy tale retelling of Sleeping Beauty. I highly recommend it, but read anything from T. Kingfisher. I think that she is very undervalued, to be honest. The next book is Natural Beauty by Ling Ling Huang. I read this during the summer, and this book is definitely going to be on the best books of 2023 list. I think that this is a freaking masterpiece, and this book only have 4,600 ratings and 1,000 reviews. Now, way more people need to read this book. The author is a genius, and what she did in this book is amazing. So go and check this book out. And then the last book that I want to mention here is Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent. This book has been published for a while. It's not a new release, and so far only 55,000 people have rated this book. And just to compare it to that vampire book that is her newest release, and everybody is reading it and everybody is so crazy about it. 160,000 people read that book. Now, I also finished that book, The Serpent and the Wings of Night. That's the book that I'm talking about. And honestly, if you like that book, then read this one, because this is heaps better. Like that Carissa Broadbent and this Carissa Broadbent and the characters and the plots. Like, what are you guys talking about? This is a freaking masterpiece, and this is what people need to read. 55,000 on Goodreads? No, not enough, not enough. Next question. The weather has turned cold and it's time to cover up. What's the most embarrassing book cover you own that you like to keep hidden in the public? Well, this is this is really easy to answer, because that is Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. Now listen, I am going to own it. I read that book, and when I purchased that book, it was sold to me as kind of like a sci-fi romance. I don't know, I think that's a very kind description, because let's call this book what it is. It is alien smut. That's what it is. But honestly, guys, I'm not saying that this book is not problematic, and there are like scenes when I'm like, well, this is not exactly feminist. It's not. But I had the best time of my life reading this book. I laughed out hard. But would I display this cover? I actually have the newer cover. I think it's a little bit like more bookshelf friendly, to put it that way. But if I had the old cover, I don't know, I would probably like put it in the back of the bookshelf, and you know, I would just like no, it just never happened. It's about a bunch of female characters who get stranded on an ice planet, and then they get discovered by a local tribe, and those tribe members actually save them from aliens, and it's a journey. Like, honestly, it's a journey. Oh my god, like I'm still... Oh, that book was so funny. I had such a good time. Oh, and the next question, this is not about books, this is about food. And honestly, I cannot tell you what I like more, food or books. It's a tough choice, but I also don't have to choose. I can love books and I can love food. And I can love them at the same time. I will insert a couple of pictures here. These pictures are from last year, because I took these pictures last year. I haven't really taken any food pictures this year, so I'm just gonna use those pictures. But I do make every single one of these dishes during the fall more than once, way more than once. And one of my favorite things to do is to simply roast pumpkin. My favorite is butternut squash or even acorn, and with some honey and chili, and honestly, it is one of the best dishes. And once I have this pumpkin, the leftover, I just like, you know, process it as a puree, and you can do whatever you want to do with it. You can put it in waffles, you can put it in oatmeal, you can put it in your pumpkin pie, like you can do whatever. It is amazing. Honey and chili, those two are the secret ingredients. I also use the pumpkin that I roast here to make my favorite fall salad, which is a pumpkin and chickpea salad, and I make a honey mustard dressing to go with that salad. It is so good. I love it. I love it. Of course, I make pumpkin pie. And I don't know, like I feel like pumpkin pie is very much a divider, because there are people who love it, there are people who hate it. I make pumpkin pie in a way that the filling is not dense, it's not just about pumpkin, but it's kind of like custardy. It's all about cream and vanilla and pumpkin. And I also make this vanilla mascarpone cooked cream to go with it, and it is amazing. So pumpkin pie, I am big on pumpkin pie. I also love apple pie, but my favorite apple pie, I love American apple pie and I love Canadian apple pie, but my favorite one, of course, is Hungarian apple pie. We do it a little bit differently because we don't do it in like one of those pie dishes, but it's more like a slice with a really delicious apple filling. Oh my god, it's so good. But you don't need to eat Hungarian apple pie to enjoy apple pie. Like, eat whatever apple pie you want. Oh my god, it's so good. One of the things that I discovered here in the US when I moved to the US, it's snickerdoodle cookies. I had no idea what these were until I actually made them one day. Why are people so crazy about American chocolate chip cookies and oatmeal raisin cookies? I mean, they are delicious, don't get me wrong, but snickerdoodles slap hard, so good. And my favorite breakfast during the fall, I cannot help it, I'm a creature of habits when it comes to food actually, is oatmeal. I make overnight oats with some chia seeds, and then I use raisins and cinnamon granola as topping, and that's what I eat. And it is fantastic. That is my breakfast every single day. If you haven't tried it yet, please do. If you like oatmeal raisin cookies, then I think you will love this oatmeal option, but don't forget the granola because you need that little bit of crunch. But honestly, oatmeal in any form and flavor, I love it. Okay, last question. Spread the cozy warmth. Who do you tag? Now, I have come up with a list of creators. I really enjoy their content and I want to tag them, and I hope that they will do this video because I am really curious to know how they answer these questions. And one of the creators is Michaela from Michaela Reads. She reads a lot of thriller, a lot of mystery, a lot of horror, and I know that many people associate fall as a season with these genres. So if you enjoy these genres, then you should definitely go and check out her channel. I will leave her channel down below. Also, I want to tag Baron from the book Baron. She is a romance reader. If you are looking for romance and romance recommendations, then I think that again, you should check her channel out. I am also tagging Nat from Nerdy Nat Reads. I really want to know how she answers these questions, of course. Kat from Lit with Kat. She is a Boston-based booktube creator as well, and again, I am really interested to see and to hear how she answers these questions. I am also tagging Eliza from Eliza's Bookshelf and Chris from Chris Daily Reads. Well, I do hope that they will accept this tag invitation and will create these videos, because again, I cannot wait to see, I cannot wait to hear how they answer these questions. Let's just get this tag going because I think that this tag is very underrated. And if you are a creator watching this video, I tag you. Just do it. You don't need a tag. You don't need an invitation. Just do it. And also, if you are not a creator, I don't care. Please answer these tag questions in the comment section below. Let me know about your favorite book covers, red, oranges, yellow, the favorite underrated books that you believe should become the next thing, the coolest characters, maybe female characters that you really like and you want to trade places with. Like, please let me know. I do want to know. Now, this is it, guys. This is the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed spending some time with me. If you want to check out any of my other videos, I will leave them here and here. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so, and I'll see you soon in an upcoming video. Bye!